You are listening to The Awkward In Between, a podcast discussing the challenging transition from high school to young adulthood. I am your host, JSE, and in today's episode, we will explore the conflicts faced during freshman year of college compared to those of sophomore year, and how they relate to the transition into young adulthood. Now, let's dive in. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the second episode of The Awkward In Between. If you are new, welcome. I'm super excited about today's episode because I have a guest with me, and my lovely guest is actually my sister, Elena Chenevert. Elena, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Elena. This is my third year in college. I like art, I like dogs, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I like lo-fi music.
Okay. I just like to play it on the TV and just have it in the background on my Spotify.
Yes.
You know, playing lo-fi music on Spotify versus playing it on YouTube, it's just a different kind of vibe. When I play it on Spotify, it doesn't make me feel like the TV's on and I'm able to relax. But when I play it on YouTube, I actively know that my TV is on and it like gives me anxiety for some reason. But I also think that it has something to do with like the frequencies because you know, you can tell when the TV is being turned on.
Well, I don't know if that's considered lo-fi, but I have there's a YouTube channel I like to listen to, and they put food on the cover.
Is it like anime food?
No, it's like somebody does a art of food and it looks realistic, and then they have like a background with a color on it. That tote bag that I showed you yesterday is based off of the YouTube channel that I've been watching.
Oh, okay. Is it similar to the Korean cafe music YouTube channels that I listen to, where it has a picture that's similar to an album cover, and then it has a solid colored background?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
And the music will basically be made to fit whatever food they're doing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I like those videos.
That's such a vibe, Elena.
That's YouTube.
Okay,
Which is
so
lo-fi.
I have you
Yes.
here today so that we can discuss the conflicts that you faced your freshman year. From what I understand, of course I understand this because I'm your sister, you actually don't go to school at Northwestern State University. You go to school at Tech. Tell us a bit about your school.
We gotta represent them well. We're the Bulldogs. That's our mascot. And our bulldog is cute. He's beautiful. What else? We got trees, which is important to me.
I would hope that you guys have trees.
I care about trees. It's nice. We are based on being very community-like, as you know.
I've been to Tech quite a few times.
Yes.
I just have to say it's very different from Northwestern.
We have a nice hometown feel, downtown Ruston. They have cute little stores. They're very welcoming. They have an axe throwing pizza shop, and that is unique and cool. The teachers are nice. Food is nice.
So I am going to go ahead and roll into our questions. A common conflict that most freshmen encounter their first year of college, you encounter a lot of changes. You encounter a lot of financial changes. You encounter a lot of mental changes. But most of all, one of the biggest conflicts that they face is the mental aspect of college. Because you have all these different things going on, a lot of the times you don't keep the same friends. You kind of feel lonely for a while. And that aspect of college is a really big one that no matter who you are, you have at least faced it at least once or twice. If not in your freshman year, then later on down the line. This actually leads me into my first question. What was a conflict that you recall from your freshman year when you first got to Tech?
That was like a monologue, like Syndrome's monologue.
Yeah.
It's like, you got me monologue. That's what that was like. But it was good.
Okay.
You actually hit right on the nail in terms of loneliness. Because fun fact, I did not have really any friends in high school. I had associates.
Okay.
As you grow up, basically you realize, you're traveling through crowds and cliques.
Yeah.
And you figure out where you don't fit in, where you do fit in, as you figure yourself out. As I was going through figuring myself out, I realized I don't need to be hanging around people that I hang around. Deep down, I knew that I'm not here for them. I'm not here for them. They're not actually my friends. They don't have my best interest at heart, and I don't really care for the things that they like to do. So I basically had to go lone wolf. Yeah, so going into college, I didn't really have any friends. I had associate people. Like that combined with the fact that I am very family oriented. I love my family. Basically, y'all are my best friends.
Yeah.
My siblings are my best friends. Going to college basically put me alone. There were people that I saw from high school that I'm familiar with, and some of them, yes, I'm comfortable with speaking to, and we can have friendly conversations, but I cannot label them fully as friend. We don't go out for coffees and hang out and go to concerts or whatever college kids kids do that have friends. I didn't go into college with those relationships. Since I was off on my own, I wanted to establish myself.
Yeah.
So we went to tech, and that was a big thing that I knew I had to face, because I'm one of those type of people where I'm not talking to you.
Mhm.
You basically have to initiate the conversation, unless we're talking about something that I'm actually into. The loneliness was real. The loneliness was real. I would cry whenever I couldn't get into contact with the fam.
Yeah.
I would be sad if I did get into contact with the fam, but the phone was acting up. That was like my connection. That was my communication.
Yeah.
I did have a roommate my freshman year, but we didn't really talk.
Mm-hmm.
And she was nice. This wasn't a girl that I could label as friend. We didn't see eye to eye on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a homebody. I want friends and I want to hang around, but at the same time, when I get done with my business for the day, I want to sit down. I want to relax. I want to enjoy my private space, prepare for tomorrow. So I was like, oh snap, I'm alone. And tying into the fact that I wanted to establish myself, the lack of networking opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We know the personal experience. Before I got into school, I bursted out crying. I had a freak out moment.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find references for getting scholarships.
Oh yeah, looking for references is like crazy hard, especially if you feel like you have people that you know, but you're scared to ask them to be a reference, and then you don't want to put them as a reference and they're not aware. It's hard and nerve-wracking because you don't want to be a bother, but you also know that this would benefit me in the end, and I know that I have a good reputation behind me, so I know that they probably wouldn't find it bothersome to do it, you know.
Kind of go back to the situation where, like, the last day of school, I realized, everybody was crying because, like, oh, we finished high school and hugging their friends.
Yeah.
And I cried because I was like, oh snap, this entire high school experience, I did not make any friends.
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends. So it kind of ties into that idea of the stereotypical go to your high school reunion.
Yeah.
And they're like, who is that again?
Yeah.
I feel like that I am that girl.
The who is that again?
Yeah, who is that again? But also my personal life experiences, as you know, they got in the way of certain opportunities I was able to have. I was recognized, but at the same time I went unseen. And so it's like, there's not too many people I could be like, hey, can you represent me in this, or this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was there, but at the same time I was invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh.
I feel like that's where you and I differ, because I felt invisible, but there were people who knew me that I didn't even know knew me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the fact that you also experienced the loneliness, I feel like that also proves even more that that is a common factor. It doesn't matter who you are as a student before college, you're going to experience that loneliness, because if anybody were to compare both you and I'm very social. I was more social.
Yes.
I always had friends. I was always talking to people. I was in theater. I was in choir. I was friends with people who were considered to be popular because we were in all of the same things. I knew them. I was always at somebody's birthday party. I was always at a cast party. I was considered to be the social butterfly. And you even were well known with some of my friends just because you were my sister, you know? So it was like, oh yeah, you're a lady. You're Jaya's sister, you know?
Yeah.
I think that just goes to show I would say, a vast group of friends, and I don't even talk to half of those people anymore. We all ended up going to different schools. We lost contact. Some of us talked for a little while over the summer. School started. I only have 2 people that I knew that were still from that group. And till this day, I don't talk to either of those people. The only person that I talk to still is Lily. And you want to know something crazy? Lily and I weren't even friends in high school. We had almost all of the same classes, and we never not once talked, but we were like floating around the same group of people. I did really feel what you said whenever you were like, you would get sad whenever you wouldn't be able to reach anybody from home because you felt alone. I had friends when I was on campus. Again, I didn't see them all the time. I wasn't very close to them, and I was losing people at the same time. And there would be moments where after a phone call with the family, if y'all would hang up, I would sit there and cry.
Yeah.
Like, I would cry because I would feel sad and I felt displaced outside of the household, outside of the family. And I would fall into little depressive spells because my sisters were my best friends, regardless of how many friends I had in high school. And our family, we're used to sitting on the couch and having a 4-hour conversation, talking to each other. All of these things actually lead me into, so how did you overcome that portion of your freshman year? What were your solutions for that conflict that you faced?
Okay, so in terms of fighting loneliness and managing my loneliness, this would kind of dip into going back in the high school type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, as you know, because of how in shell I was, mom was like, okay, how about you go to JRTC?
Yeah.
And that was great. It was fun.
Yeah.
I grew because of it, and I'm less turtle than I was before.
Yeah.
Still turtle, but not as turtle as I was before. So I did grow from that. And I actually did try, in terms of the high school experience, I did try to do things outside of let's hurry up and go home. I joined the rifle team.
Yeah, I remember
Even though
that.
I was a sucky shooter. I was the worst shooter
Yeah.
when we actually did go.
Yeah.
But that's how I lettered. So it was worth it.
Yeah.
I wasn't that sucky. I tried to join the art club. This is actually my junior year of high school. But good times, fun times, pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So I tried to socialize, but it got cut off.
Yeah. I think that messed with
A lot of things.
A lot of
and
things.
overall socialization skills for a lot of the mass majority of people.
Mhm.
So if you're already uncomfortable with talking like myself, everybody kind of went into their shells after the pandemic.
It made them more paranoid.
Yeah, it made them more paranoid. It made them more separated. It made them more stuck in their phones and their technology, because that's what the people ran to whenever the pandemic happened. So when they came back out, they're still like in their phones.
That's how they replaced being able to socialize in person.
Yeah, and I was never really one of those type of people in the first place.
Yeah.
So it seemed like even after the pandemic, I'm still on the outside in terms of socializing with people.
Yeah.
That was the point in time where I was presented with a great opportunity in JRTC where I got to basically step into a leadership role. But because of pandemic times, that didn't happen. I was nervous, but I was also pleased because I knew beforehand that I was being considered for a leadership role, because that summer I was supposed to actually go to a summer camp, but I didn't go to that either. And I was still chosen for the position. I remember during the summer they had put the announcements on the door to the JRTC building of who's gonna be in what.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing my name and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you get
know?
that feeling of, oh, yay.
Yeah, and I was excited. Also, the interesting part with the position that they were giving me, funnily enough, it had to do with basically promoting JRTC. So I would have been the liaison. Yeah, that's basically
I don't think you ever told me that.
No.
I remember you going through that summer. I don't think we ever sat down and you ever told me
that's
about
what the position was about. So even the position was about me growing and communicating and talking to people, like Dontrell Allen. His position in
he
JRTC,
actually goes to NSU.
Yeah, his position in JRTC whenever he was on staff, that was the job that I would have had.
Oh,
so I would have done what he did, but COVID happened. That kind of ties back into my solution.
Yeah.
I will say overall, though, that this is still an ongoing problem for me. It didn't just end or get cut off in high school or in my freshman year of college. It's still something that I'm like fighting, because this is a part of me that's been here for a long time, like me being in my shell. So in terms of like solving the problem in my freshman year of college, one thing that I noticed that I took a class, an English class, because I have to take that class for my degree.
Yeah.
But I had a teacher that I actually enjoyed. He had high expectations for us, but he made it fun. And he actually gave us feedback, and it was great. And I enjoyed this class. I did well in the class. I enjoyed it so much so to the point that I actually did something that I would say put me out there in a sense to challenge that loneliness. I submitted an essay into like an essay writing contest.
Yes.
And that year I won 3rd place. And I was the only student for his class to have submitted an essay and won something. So it was like yay, I did something, and I just promoted this teacher, and I'm out here in front of all these people it was a little award ceremony, because college has other things going on. It was like people see me and I'm doing something, and I'm not just passing through. I was actually trying to enjoy something.
Yeah.
Well, connecting to that, the next time I had to take an English class, I actually took another one of his classes, also because it was required. Important thing about that was that when I took the class, the temporal gap in terms of like time, the space in between when I took that first class and the second class, it wasn't huge. It was like probably 2 quarters.
Y'all do y'all's term different from NSU. So to clarify to the audience, NSU, we do our fall term is considered to be one whole thing. So that would be August all the way to the end of December.
Like a semester.
Yeah, that would be a semester. And then our spring is January all the way into May. Whereas you guys kind of break it up into 4 different
chunks.
Yeah.
We have fall quarter, we have winter quarter, we have spring quarter, and then summer quarter is optional. I took this next English course with the same instructor. And so because the gap of time wasn't that big, he was like, oh, it's Elena, hi. And I was like, hi. And because whenever he checked the attendance for the class and everybody was first in there, he was like, oh, hey, how are you? And I was like, really high.
It felt
And
good to like
yeah,
be noticed by
to
one of
be
your
recognized,
professors.
to be
Yeah.
seen, and it was positive.
Yeah.
Come the end of that quarter and towards the end of the school year, because this is usually whenever the writing contest thing happens,
Mm-hmm.
I submitted another essay from that particular course into the writing contest.
Mm-hmm.
And that this time the essay was first place in its category.
Yeah.
Which made me very happy. It's again representing this instructor is like a good instructor. So it's like,
do you want to say his name just in case he listens to this episode?
I highly doubt that. so but Nicholas Todd.
Mm-hmm. Is he a doctor?
No.
Okay, so Professor Nicholas Todd.
Yes.
Okay.
So that made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a way of like putting myself out.
Mm-hmm.
One way I'll
Mhm.
say to conquer that loneliness in freshman year. Another thing that happened the first day that I moved in,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a church organization. A church organization was hosting like some barbecue concert thing the first day of school.
Yeah.
So I went out there to eat a hamburger and stuff. And this girl walked up to me and she was like, hi. And we started talking and she invited me to join their church group to like come and visit and see if I liked it. And so I went and it was fun. There were things that I picked up from that experience. Buying a full loaf and breaking up that loaf.
Yeah.
I picked that up from them rather than like finding like a
The little
slice.
wafers.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
wafer thing. And I was like, that's great because Jesus broke his body. You know, his body was broken for us. And
Yeah.
the bread loaf represents his entire body, whereas wafers are broken up and distributed among the people and it's already separated. But with the loaf, you get to see that separation, that he was broken and it was for each of us. So when we received that little chunk of bread from that loaf, it's like we're receiving that part of him. He did that for us. I also noticed that they were very big on like fellowship.
Mhm.
So I was like, I got there and everybody was like, they all wanted to talk to me at some point. They
Yeah.
all wanted to have a one-on-one with me, like go to a coffee shop with me or go and sit down
Like
and
they
have
tried
like
to make you feel welcome.
yeah, and I liked that they were big on fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
The girls of the congregation, we would meet up outside. We'd
Mhm.
sit at a little picnic table,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really nice. And we talked and basically talk about a reading that we were talking about on Sundays.
Okay.
And we would pray together.
And you know that takes a lot of strength.
Yeah,
And you know it's important for us to have humility as a believer, so that like pulls away at the pride and really reveals our humility.
Yeah.
Because none of you guys really know each other. Y'all are not family. You're a college student talking to other college students.
Yeah.
And that in itself is already really nerve-wracking because you don't know these people. But the fact that you guys were able to find common ground and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this and I really need you guys to help me pray about it, that just shows the strength in the walk that we take as believers in Christ.
Strength and vulnerability.
Yeah.
And to give ourselves to him.
Yeah.
So there were certain things though that I was like, okay, I'm not for all that. And of course we're not going to agree on all things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Apostle Paul wrote, basically, I pray that God brings us all into the knowledge of him, the complete knowledge of him. I fell off with attending this church group in terms of like consistent. It's kind of like working out. You're doing it and then one day you miss.
And then it like throws off your entire cycle.
Yeah, and you just fall off. That is what happened to me. One night I missed and it was like, oopsies. When it happened, so I was like, wait, is this the right time? Is this the right day? And I was actually very genuinely confused. So I didn't reach out or anything to try to figure out what was going on. I was just like, I'm gonna keep my distance. And I was also grateful for it because once again, going back to the thing that there were certain things that I was not comfortable with that they did. Yeah. That's in terms of like freshman year.
Yeah,
Addressing
your solutions.
the problem.
Okay. Whenever you were talking about the thing with your professor and you were like, he recognized you, like, I have to say that does feel really good when your professor recognizes you, because college is completely different from high school and like elementary school in that aspect, because professors have so many different classes that they teach in just a week, and they have so many different students that they rotate through in just one semester itself. They see a lot of different faces. So when you have a professor where you're actually doing things and you're like recognized, it feels good when your professor recognizes you and can put a name to a face. So we talked about your freshman year and everything that you dealt with your freshman year. So you said that the loneliness aspect is still something that you're struggling with.
Yes.
And for your sophomore year, other than the loneliness, and if that is the conflict that you face, that's fine if we talk about how it got different in your sophomore year. What was the conflict of your sophomore year?
So the loneliness, of course, was still ongoing.
Mhm.
It's still present. But the big situation that I say that particular year was actually time management, like staying on top of classwork. My second year of college was, but it manifested itself in terms of that was the year where I would be staying up late pulling all-nighters, listening to like lo-fi music and running around my room and then hurrying up and trying to finish essays.
Yeah.
I was also like either staying up, well, not even either. I was staying up really, really late and then going to bed and then have to wake up really, really early for class. So, and then the loneliness was still there. So it's like a mixture of me cramming to do all this work and then also like, I guess first of all, the background to that, I think that would tie into that problem was the fact that I did not start the school year like when everybody else started. Like jump back in that particular school year.
Yeah.
So it was like I didn't start off smooth. It was just like I'm at home and there's a certain way you behave at home that's different from how you behave at school.
You were talking about this in the car the other day.
Like
where you were saying like whenever you're at home, you just naturally relax, so it makes it harder for you to do
your environment. Basically, it gives you a cue of how you should behave in a sense. So it's like for me at home is associated with I can relax, I can be me here. This is the area where if I had like a mask up,
you can let it down.
When I jumped into my second year of college, it was like, oh, you know, this is a sudden shift in schedule and habits and behaviors. So in a sense, it was like I'm carrying my home behaviors in this, which was really, really bad.
There are so many people, not just college students, but like people in general that deal with procrastination.
In high school, you have all that stuff arranged for you. And even at home, basically you're used to a structured lifestyle. But when you leave the house, when you go off to college, the structure is up to you to develop and to establish. And if you don't have that, then you're going to be off the rails. And you're not going to know what to do with yourself.
The shift that you're talking about, I understand that you're having to be in charge of when you go to sleep because you know you have to get up for class in the morning. It's up to you to get up on time, get dressed, make sure you have everything that you need before you go to class. It's up to you to make sure you do your work. And that's nobody else's fault. It's just something that you have to do. And that's just the basic fundamentals, whether you're in college or you're just going straight to work after school. I need to set my own alarm and I need to wake myself up. And you can honestly say that kind of prepares you a little bit for whenever you get out of the house because you know your mom is not going to drive all the way to your house, knock on your door and tell you, you need to wake up, honey. It's time to go to work. No, you have to do that yourself. And so I completely understand what you mean, like the pulling the all-nighters. And you know what? That's so bad because pulling all-nighters, it took me towards the end of my freshman year to like really understand the fact that pulling all-nighters is so unhealthy for your body. My freshman year of college, and I was writing an essay. I was just trying to get it done. And I ended up playing the Coconut Mall music from Mario Kart on repeat for 12 hours straight. And I cried. I was crying while I was doing it. I can laugh about it now. I made a B on that essay, which I deserve. I did deserve because it was not an A+ assignment. So I'm not mad about that. I'm grateful that I even got a B. After that issue, that's when I really realized it was like pounded into my head by myself that you have to do this because no one else is going to do it for you. You need to be on top of your schedule. You need to be on top of your work. You have to be disciplined and you have to be mature because nobody else is going to do it for you. I'm glad that we talked about all of that. You said that there are some things that you are still dealing with. How have you overcome some of those conflicts and how are you working to overcome the ones that are still present?
Okay, so that year where all this stuff was happening, this is the same year where I started work study. And I would say that helped because
at the preschool daycare,
the ECEC, Early Childhood Education Center. So that was helpful because, you know, just in general, if you have a job, you're gonna have to communicate with people. So in a sense, that was me once again putting myself out there, and it had benefits. You know, you get money. Not only are you socializing with adults, you're socializing with children, and children provide fun feedback and fun conversations, and also conversing with little kids. It requires you to have to mature in certain areas. That was important. And then also there were times where I would get to hold conversations with my coworkers when the kids weren't trying to keep all the coworkers to themselves. I did this my freshman year which I didn't mention in terms of solutions, but there was a girl from high school that I knew in high school. We had JRTC together. We both like art, and I would talk to her. I don't necessarily consider her a friend. It's just like a hi. It's like an acquaintance type thing, and it's nice. It's like, hi, how you doing? And we talk, and it's good. And if she has like a struggle, then we talk about her struggles, and it's like, okay, I'll pray for you on that. And sometimes we'll eat together and stuff like that, and that's nice. But I wouldn't stamp the friend thing on it yet. But it's like the socialization is there, and that's important. I still drew the writing contest, which is actually coming up next week, which I'm excited for. It is not for the teacher that I represented before. It's for a different professor. So it's like, okay, one solution, and this is something that I've done from freshman year up till now. Basically, the dorm, they will host family traditions, and they'll like do something every week, and then they'll have like special events that they hold every once in a while. And basically the goal is go to at least one. Freshman year, it was a brownie in a mug event. Made little brownies in the little mugs and they let us keep our mugs. And I was like, okay, I'm coming downstairs to go do that. And I still have my mug and I enjoy it. I got to show somebody my art. So I was like, okay, we're connected. My second year, it was an event for Mother's Day. So this is something that, everybody's like, oh yeah, we celebrate Mother's Day. So there are people going to be out there. Basically, I'm putting myself out there. I'm making efforts to talk to people.
Yeah. So we're at the final question of this amazing podcast interview. I would say more of like a couch session, less than an interview. It's more of a couch session.
Yes.
This is basically just one of our normal conversations that we have, but with mics.
Yes.
So, final question.
Okay.
What are some goals that you would like to accomplish after you graduate college?
This sounds very, like, I guess, cliche, but get a job. Get a job.
Yeah.
A real job. I think that's part of like maturity and being able to do things for myself, because part of all of the two struggles that I mentioned, it has to do with like being dependent on family, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like establishing myself in a sense would help combat that. Making friends, which ties into that whole thing, but meeting new people and talking to people, basically being the one to start the conversation. That is a goal. I guess one would be moving out. If I have a place of my own, then that would give you somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
And not just for the two of us, but for our other siblings as well. So those are like, I don't know if that was 2.
You didn't have to do 3. Yeah, you
3 goals. 3 goals that I have for myself.
We are coming towards the end of the episode here. We discuss some of the common challenges that most freshmen in college experience, and we discuss some of your challenges, those being procrastination, loneliness, being socially comfortable, and also being comfortable with yourself. We discussed quite a few challenges and how some of those challenges also bled into your sophomore year, and the solutions to both your sophomore and freshman year, how you face those challenges, and about some of them that you are still facing and how you're working through them right now. And we even discussed the goals that you like to achieve after you graduate, which I believe that you are going to achieve them. And all the solutions that we discuss, anybody could try them. It's always good to step outside the box. I think that's the most important thing, whether you go to college straight after high school or you just start working straight after high school. The biggest thing when you're transitioning from teenage you to young adult you is stepping outside of the box.
Yeah.
And not being so chained down and comfortable to what teenage you is used to, and finding out what young adult you likes, your hopes, your dreams, who you are now. It all comes with stepping outside your comfort zone, because you're a different version of yourself. Like I said earlier on in the episode, you're a different version of yourself in every stage of your life. So it's all about stepping outside of the box. And at the end of the day, all it takes is boldness, courage, and we can all step outside of the box. Well, Elena, thank you for being in today's episode. It was awesome to have you. I hope to have you in future episodes, which I know I will.
Yes.
You did a really good job today. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
I'm going to wrap this episode up here. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to hear more, follow The Awkward In Between on Spotify. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at @the_awkward in between. Be blessed, be happy, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Bye.